Algebra 1, Lesson 51, we are simplifying rational expressions with like denominators. So being able to take those fractions that have variables in the denominator and be able to add, subtract them, but also simplify them until they're exclusions. So remember, when we're talking about our rational expressions, we must always state the exclusions, meaning what number can the variable not equal because it would make the denominator 0. So in our first case, we look and we say 3 minus x over 8x. Well, we don't really care what the numerator is because it can be anything. But the denominator, we want to make sure that it's not equal to 0. So one way to do it is just to say, well, 8 times something can't equal 0. But if I had x as 0, that would make the denominator 0. So I have to exclude x equaling 0. So we say x cannot be 0. Then I look at 2a over 1 minus a and say, what would make the denominator 0? And one way I can do it is say, well, let's make it equal to 0. 1 minus a is equal to 0. And I can solve for a. And in this case, I'm going to add a to each side and see that a would be 1. So, in order to make sure this doesn't happen, I have to exclude 1. And lastly, if I put in 4 for a, I would have 4 minus 4, that would be 0. So I cannot have a being 4. Okay, so make sure that you can state the exclusions for these. Now let's make sure we can also simplify them. So let's simplify first. So if I have 8h squared over 12h, remember I can go piece by piece and say, I'm going to simplify 8 and 12, 8 over 12. Well, that's just 2 over 3, and then I can simplify the h squared over h, which means one of these h's can go away, and I'm left with an h on the numerator. And there are actually no exclusions, so I can say h can be anything, or we don't have any exclusions. And the second one, I'm going to do something similar. 6 divided by 24 is 1/4. And we are left with a y squared in the numerator. So we have y squared over 4, and y can be anything. Okay, so we always simplify, we always state the exclusions. So let's try these. Now remember, I must only simplify things that are being multiplied together in both the numerator and denominator. Meaning in my first case, I wouldn't be able to simplify the m and the m because those are connected to the 6 and the 3 by subtraction. But maybe I can factor this to be able to simplify a factor. And so I simplify the numerator and factor it to get, well, I can take 2 out of each, so m minus 3 is left over m minus 3. Now 2 and m minus 3 are factors because those are multiplied. And we could also think about m minus 3 as a factor because that's like times 1. Meaning I can get rid of the m minus 3. It is exactly the same. So I can simplify it. And I am left with 2. And there are no exclusions. For the second one, I'm going to do something similar and factor the denominator now. And I factor out of 5 to get g minus 2. Meaning I can get rid of the g minus 2 and I am left with 1/5. G can be anything. Okay, I'm going to factor these and just do these pretty quickly. In the numerator, I can factor out a 4y to have y plus 2 left over y plus 2, meaning I can get rid of these and I'm left with 4y. Y can be anything. Oh, sorry. Let me close this down. Okay, and then I'm going to factor the numerator for the second one, take out a 7d to have d plus 3 left over d plus 3. Those are both factors, and I can get rid of those, and I have 7d. D can be anything. Remember, because we don't have anything in the denominator, we don't have to exclude anything. Okay, what happens when we have negative exponents? Well, in this case, let's get rid of those negative exponents first. So for the first one, I'm going to have to take this and put it in the denominator. So I have p over q squared minus 7p over q squared. Now, if we're talking about fractions, I have common denominators, so I can actually subtract the numerator and denominator. So I have p minus 7p over q squared, which we can simplify. 1p minus 7p is negative 6p over q squared. And that's as simple as it can go. And I look for any exclusions and I say, yeah, I have to make sure that q cannot be 0. Next one, I'm going to move some things around. This one's going to go to the denominator. This one's going to go to the numerator, so that I have t over s cubed minus 12t over s cubed. So 1t minus 12t is a negative 11t over s cubed. And I can't have s being 0. And then last one, I'm going to move the m to the negative second to the denominator, so I have 6n to the 4th over m squared. And then in the second term, I'm going to flip both the m and the n to get 3n to the 4th over m squared. We have common denominators, so I can add together my n to the 4ths to get 9n to the 4th over m squared, but m cannot be 0. Okay, so simplify as much as possible and then tell any exclusions. Now we can extend this to finding the perimeter of things. I'm just going to plug in my length and my width in my formula to say perimeter equals 2 times my length, 6a over 3a plus 4, plus 8 over 3a plus 4. Thankfully, we have common denominators, so I can add those together and get 6a plus 8, can't go any further than that because they're not like terms, over 3a plus 4. Now, a couple ways to do this. We could factor inside of the parentheses first and then multiply, or multiply and then factor. I'm going to multiply and then factor to get 12a plus 16 over 3a plus 4. And I'll factor and say 3a plus 4 can't be factored, but 12a plus 16, I can get a 4 out of each of those to have 3a plus 4 left over 3a plus 4, meaning that my perimeter equals 4. Okay, and then one last one, similar idea. I need to add these together, say 2 times my length, 6 minus x over 4y, plus my width, 2x plus 5 over 4y. And I add together the numerators since I have common denominators. And I can say I have a negative x and a 2x, meaning I just have one x left over. A 6 and a 5, so plus 11. And then I'm going to multiply out to get 2x plus 22 over 4y. And I can simplify a little bit by factoring out a 2, so I have x plus 11 over 4y, so 2 and 4 can simplify. So I have x plus 11 over 2y, and y cannot be 0. Okay. Well, I hope this is helpful for your homework and for studying.